to apologize. I'm going to apologize in advance for forgetting your name at some point in time this evening.
Hello, Kyle.
No big deal. I mean, I've only been on here for 10 years and he still forgets my name. So
You're gonna throw me off because your little square says Jason as opposed to Jason Gamble. So I'm gonna probably call you Councilmember Jason at some point tonight.
that's okay.
I can rename him if you'd like.
If that's okay with Jason, that would be perfectly okay with me. Yes.
Oh no, I'm kind of partial to the name Jason. I worked hard on that one.
We'll still keep Jason in the name in the name. Just add Gamble.
He answers good after all this time.
Hello, Kirk. Hello, Tammy.
Hi, Kevin. Nice to see you. Hi, Kyle, Jason.
Kyle.
Well, Kyle,
Hello.
All right, everybody. The time is 7 o'clock, so we'll just go ahead and wait for Councilmember Davis to, we'll announce when Councilmember Davis comes in, but let's go ahead and get our meeting started. Good evening and welcome to tonight's Monroe City Council meeting. Tell you what, we'll wait for the clock to strike 8, which is not the time. Sorry, everybody. It won't be here next week. All right, if that happens during another time in the meeting, hopefully I'll be able to just hit mute on my end. Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's Monroe City Council meeting. This is the regular business meeting for Tuesday, January 11th, 2022. The time right now is 7 p.m. Ms. Wyckoff, will you please call the roll?
Thank you, Mayor. Council members present and establishing a quorum are council members Fulcher, Kinney, Hanford, Gamble, Fisher, and Scarborough.
Thank you. And we do have Councilmember Davis, who has not yet joined us this evening. He has not indicated that he would be absent this evening. We will announce for the record when we see that he has joined our meeting. So Councilmember Davis is scheduled to give the Pledge of Allegiance this evening. Councilmember Hanford, actually Councilmember Fulcher, as our Mayor Pro Tem this evening, will you please go ahead and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? And thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I pledge allegiance to the flag
to the flag
of the United
of the United States of America
and to the
and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
liberty and
with liberty
justice.
and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilmember Fulcher. All right, we go ahead and move on to the next item on the agenda. This is item number 4 under proclamation for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So I'll go ahead and I'll read this into the record. Recognizing January 17th, 2022 as Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Whereas Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. raised his voice to challenge Americans to make freedom a reality for all and to believe each of us is created equally. And whereas Martin Luther King Jr. Day, we pause to pay tribute to the life and legacy of Dr. King and reflect on the mission he inspired to show empathy to those in poverty, to advocate nonviolence in the face of brutality, to care for children in the community, and to show compassion to everyone regardless of our differences. And whereas remembering the efforts and determination of Dr. King, we must draw strength in the face of adversity, continue to overcome obstacles, and remain vigilant to keep the dream within the reach of every person. And whereas Dr. King transformed the concepts of justice, liberty, and equality and bridged the gap between our founding ideals and the realities of our time. And whereas in remembrance of Dr. King, people are encouraged to give a day of service, and in that light, volunteers from the Monroe Family YMCA and Monroe Kiwanis Club will plant 80 evergreen trees donated by area resident Peggy Zimmerman at Lake Ty Park and Al Borland Park on Monday, January 17, 2022, and invite the public to attend the ceremony. And whereas we must stand together for good jobs, fair wages, safe neighborhoods, great quality education for all, and further, we must ensure the scales of justice work equally for all. Now, therefore, I, Jeffrey Thomas, do hereby recognize January 17th, 2022 as Martin Luther King Jr. Day and encourage Monroe's residents to remember the profound contributions of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. That he made, and challenge everyone to strive for peace, justice, and opportunity for all. Thank you, everybody. The next item that we have on our agenda is just welcome and congratulations. Normally, this being the first meeting of the year after an election, we would be doing at least the ceremonial swearing in. As everybody is aware, all the council members who were reelected, those would be Councilmember Hanford and Councilmember Scarborough, and our new council members, Kinney and Fisher, were all sworn in at the end of December. And I'm just going to take a moment to thank each of you for placing your names there to be considered to either for re-election or to serve in this capacity for the first time. I myself really appreciated meeting your families over the last couple of weeks when you came in for your swearing in. And I am really looking forward to working with you for the next 4 years in your capacity as council members. So congratulations and welcome. I do see that Councilmember Davis has joined us. We'll let the record show that Councilmember Davis joined us at 7:04 p.m. Good evening, Councilmember Davis. We're just welcoming back 2 of our council members that were re-elected and 2 of the council members that were just elected to office. Would any of the other council members like to express a welcome to our new council members? Councilmember Fulcher, go ahead.
Yeah, I of course want to welcome back my fellow council members for serving again, and I'm pretty excited about this upcoming term. But I really want to welcome both Tammy and Kyle, council members Kinney and Fisher, to the team. I think you're going to find that is very fun to work together with diverse ideas and lots of things to discuss. I'm looking forward to the next 4 years with you guys.
Thank you, Councilmember Fulcher. Councilmember Hanford, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, just ditto to what Councilmember Fulcher said. Welcome, Councilmember Kinney and Councilmember Fisher, and looking forward to serving with Councilmember Scarborough and Mayor Thomas.
Thank you, Councilmember
Congratulations
Hanford.
to you as well.
Thank you, Councilmember. I appreciate that. All right. So welcome, everybody. Councilmember Scarborough, go ahead.
Yes, ditto to everybody. It's finally nice to be able to put a face to the name of Mr. Fisher, since I never knew who he was or wouldn't know him in public until now. Welcome, and Ms. Kinney, I talked to you a couple times, and welcome. Welcome back to Kevin and Mayor, and looking forward to the next 4 years.
Thank you, Councilmember. Me too. All right, anything else? Did our new council members want to say a few words or anything? I'm sorry, go ahead, Councilmember Gamble.
Yeah, I figured out this thing. I can get half video now too, but I just wanted to echo the sentiments. Appreciate everybody. I just think, stepping up, putting your name out there to run is just it's a special thing. So appreciate all of those that put it out there again for re-election and our newest members, and look forward to working with the both of you and for those that were re-elected. So here we go, and hopefully in the very near future we'll be face to face and we can actually take a group picture. That would novel concept.
That'd be nice.
Thank you, Councilmember Gamble. Councilmember Kinney.
I just wanted to thank you all for the warm welcome, and very, very excited to serve over the next 4 years with you. Some of you I know really well, others I've just met, but really have appreciated the encouragement and guidance that many of you have provided during the campaign, and also as we've moved now into our terms. So very excited to serve, and appreciate everything that you have all done over the years. And Mayor Thomas, really looking forward to serving you as well.
Thank you, Councilmember Kinney. Councilmember Fisher.
Yeah, hi there. Thank you for congratulating us. I'm really looking forward. It's quite an honor to be here. I'm looking forward to these next 4 years and working with everybody, going through a bunch of decision-making processes and doing what we can for the good of our community, and really looking forward to it. So here we go. I got a lot to learn.
Okay, thank you very much, Councilmember Fisher. All right, everybody. Thank you again for joining us, and look forward to the next 4 years. All right, we're gonna go ahead and move into public hearing then, item 5. So the first public hearing is 5.1. This is a public hearing 2023-2028 Transportation Improvement Plan, or TIP, and Mr. Peterson from our staff will be presenting. Good evening, Mr. Peterson. Go ahead.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, and Happy New Year to all the council members. I look forward to working with you once again in this year. It should be an exciting year. I also look forward to meeting new council members Fisher and Kinney, virtually for now, but maybe in person sometime sooner than later. That's my hope. So tonight's public hearing is for the Transportation Improvement Plan for the city of Monroe. This is something that's required by cities, by state law, to adopt every year. We have till the 30th of June to do this adoption, but we prefer to do it as close to the new year as possible, just because it's really tied together with our capital facilities plan that was recently adopted during the budget process at the end of last year. So as we move forward in your packet, there's a few attachments. I have the Transportation Improvement Plan 2023 to 2028, which is what we're talking about. I also have a copy of the capital facilities plan that was adopted in November, and you can see how those two correlate together. So as I mentioned, the capital facilities plan is a list of all the projects, the capital projects we're looking at in the next 6 years. This transportation improvement plan mirrors the transportation type capital projects. And these are things that we will bring forward as a resolution, and once it's adopted, we will also file it with the Washington State Department of Transportation for concurrence. And we need to do that within 30 days after we adopt it. So that filing will occur toward the end of February if it goes per plan. So in the packet, we have an outlay of the projects that are in the years 2023 to 2028, along with cost opinions of each one of those. And if one thing to note is that we also look to find federal and state grant opportunities to help realize these projects. Some of the projects, they cost a bit of money, and it sure is nice when we get a grant to help provide for a significant portion of that payment. Grants are competitive by nature. We compete with large municipalities in this region. We're part of the Puget Sound Regional Council, and we compete with, Everett and Linwood and all these large cities for grant monies. As such, if we are not successful with grant opportunities, then sometimes these projects just move down the years, if you will, until we can find adequate funding to realize the project. So keep that in mind. Next slide, Ms. Wyckoff, please. So this is the 2023 to 2028 Transportation Improvement Plan. I have a list of them on the left-hand side. Some of them are identified on a city aerial map, as you can see. Some are not, because they're essentially citywide projects, and so just understand that they're kind of sprinkled throughout the city. Such as the annual road maintenance program. That's where we go around and preserve our existing street system, typically with a grind and overlay. And so that could be anywhere in the city, just depends on the need of the streets and the budgeting we have for it. Same thing with the wayfinding sign project. Over 80 signs are going to be populated throughout Monroe over the next year or two. And that'd be a lot of little tags all over the city if I were to try and put those on a map. So. But in other cases, the 147 signal, that's right next to the hospital, and that's number 3. So that's a spot project where we can identify that on the map. So anyways, and the rest, are there on the list for you guys to look at right now, or if you want to look later in the packet, it's also available in the packet. Ms. Wyckoff, if you could advance the slide. This might be a little hard to see. It might be a little easier to see in the packet. These numbers are small, but this is where we work with the finance department. Again, it's essentially a copy out of our adopted capital facilities plan. It shows a list of projects. It shows how we believe it's going to be spent throughout the next 6 years. And so we work directly with finance to make sure it's a viable plan. And, we're not just wishing and without any basis in reality. So lots of numbers there for you to look at, and certainly I can field any questions after the presentation. And Mrs. Wyckoff, if you could move the slide again. So the purpose of this is, as mentioned, the state law requires that a public hearing be done as part of the annual adoption effort. which is what we're doing now. After that, and we feel comments from the council, we'll bring it back to council in a couple weeks for formal adoption of the resolution. The draft resolution is in your packet for your perusal. And that is all I got for you tonight. Thank you very much. And I'll certainly attempt to answer any questions you may have.
All right, thank you very much Mr. Peterson. Before we open this up to public hearing for the transportation improvement plan, do council members have any questions for clarification or anything along those lines? All right, we're going to go ahead and open this up for a public hearing now. If there's any member of the public that would like to speak to the 2023-2028 transportation improvement plan that Mr. Peterson just presented on, please go ahead and raise your hand. If you're on the phone, you can hit *9. If you're in Zoom, you can go ahead and hit the little raise hand icon in the bottom middle of your screen. Is there anybody that would like to speak on this evening? Anybody else? One more. Anybody at all? Okay. Seeing none, Councilmember Hanford, go ahead.
I move to close the public testimony portion of the public hearing.
Second.
You have a motion to close the public testimony portion of the public hearing from Councilmember Hanford and a second from Councilmember Davis. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor say yes.
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 All opposed say no. Any abstentions? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you, everybody. Councilmember Hanford, go ahead.
I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Hanford, a second from Councilmember Davis to close the public hearing. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor, say yes.
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 Aye.
All opposed, say no. Any abstentions, so say. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you very much, everybody. This will come back for council's consideration. I think it was on the 25th.
That's correct. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next agenda item. This is agenda item 5.2, public hearing, Monroe Woodlands annexation. And I understand that Ms. Marrero will be presenting this evening. We also have Lance, who we will be bringing forward. He's our new community development director. This is Mr. Bailey. And Ms. Marrero, before you begin, I'd like Mr. Bailey just to say hi briefly, and then we'll go ahead and go on with the presentations. Mr. Bailey is our new community development director. I don't know that he's been at another meeting as of yet, so please go ahead and say hi, and then we'll go ahead and get started on this one.
Thank you, Mayor Thomas. I think I did get a chance to meet some of the council members when you had considered actually the hiring recommendation. But I wanted to say hello to the new council members, and I look forward to working with you. And I have successfully made it through 1 week and 2 days.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. All right, Ms. Marrero, staff report. Go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and congratulations to the new council members. I'm here to present the Monroe Woodlands annexation public hearing. The annexation process began in 2020 using the direct petition method per RCW 35A.14.120. The annexation area is located immediately north of Monroe city limits in unincorporated Snohomish County, but within the Monroe urban growth area. The area is generally located west of 175th Avenue Southeast, immediately north of WashDOT right-of-way, and is contiguous with the Foothills neighborhood located immediately to the south, and the Robin Hood neighborhood to the east. This area includes the plat of Monroe Woodlands, a portion of the plat of Roosevelt Ridge, and unopened state right-of-way for part of the future US 2 bypass route. Snohomish County and the city entered a master annexation interlocal agreement in 2008 that establishes the terms of future annexation processes. So the annexation area maps are included in your packet, but I did put them, yes, thank you, Ms. Wyckoff. I did put them as part of the packet. And if we can just go back to the very first aerial, yes, thank you very much. So this is an aerial of the highlighted yellow area is Monroe Woodlands. So the previous annexation maps only show this portion built out, which is considered phase 1. So since that time when we started the annexation process, this phase 2 of Monroe Woodlands has been built out. So this is just kind of showing you what it looks like today as far as the Monroe Woodlands development. And for the next slide, this is when we started the process, this is our annexation map. And so this shows, this is a phase 1 that you saw on the previous aerial map. And then this is the area that has since been developed. This is part of the Roosevelt Ridge development. And then we have the WashDOT right away here. And then the next 2 slides just continues on to that WashDOT right away that continues on to 179th. So you can go to the, yes, there you go. Thank you very much. And then continues on one more slide, I believe. Yes, thank you very much. And so that is what the annexation area maps look like.
All right.
So the 10% petition was discussed at the October 6, 2020 City Council meeting, and the City Council accepted the 10% petition through resolution number 18/2020 on October 27, 2020. So this authorized the distribution of the annexation petition to the property owners and obtained signatures of not less than 60% of the assessed valuation. The city then submitted a notice of intention to the Snohomish County Boundary Review Board on September 3rd, 2021. On October 18th, 2021, the Snohomish County Council approved the proposed annexation. We received a letter from the Boundary Review Board on October 19th, 2021, which stated that no review was being filed, thus the action was deemed approved. The annexation public hearing date was set at the December 7th, 2021 City Council meeting. And if the City Council accepts as first reading ordinance number 002/2022 tonight, then the final reading will occur at the next council business meeting, which is on January 25th. That concludes my presentation, and I welcome any questions that you have. I just wanted to leave a lot of time for discussion and if we have any public comments.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ms. Marrero. Mr. Bailey, do you have anything further to add before I turn to council to see if there are any questions for clarification before we move to public hearing?
I don't have anything to add at this point.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Bailey. Council members, before we move to public testimony, do you have any questions of clarification for staff? All right, thank you. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to open this up now for public testimony. If you're interested in speaking to this proposed ordinance, please go ahead and put your hand up. If you're in the Zoom format, you can hit the raise hand button. If you're on the phone, you can hit *9. Now, I do see that we have 2 attendees who have raised their hand at this time. So we'll go ahead and bring them in. Please note that that as we bring you in, we're going to ask you to identify your name and your area of residence. You will have 3 minutes to speak, and Ms. Wyckoff will go ahead and put the timer up on the screen. And we will wait to start that until after you said your name and area of residence. All right. All right, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to scroll up to the top of my list, and I'm going to go off the names that are your usernames. So I'm going to apologize if I get your name wrong, and then again, if you're using somebody else's logon, just be aware that I might be calling your name and it may be a different name than you think it is. So the first person that I have is, I think it's Dinesh. So we'll go ahead and bring Dinesh into the panel. Good evening, Dinesh. You can go ahead and turn on your video if you like and take yourself off of mute. And then please state your name for the record and your area of residence. And then
yeah, hi, my name is Dinesh Kumar, and I live in Monroe Woodlands Phase 3.
Good evening. Go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, all. So I just wanted to check if I know there will not be any impact on school district. That's what I read in annexation flyers. So I just wanted to confirm on that, as well as if we have any option to vote against this annexation. So can we do that?
Okay. Thank you very much. Staff will be taking questions and then responding after public testimony as part of the deliberation. So thank you. Okay, we're going to go ahead and bring on the next person. The next person is David Cassis or Cassis. We'll go ahead and bring you onto the panel. Good evening, David. Please go ahead and state your name and area of residence for the record, please.
David Cassis, Monroe Woodlands, Phase 1.
Good evening. Go
Good
ahead.
evening, everyone. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to kind of discuss this and, put our concerns out there. I have two major concerns. One is school district. It's one of the biggest factors of my family moving into this area was being part of the Snohomish School District. As we know, the difference between Snohomish and Monroe School District. Two, you mentioned you got 60% approval to proceed. I want to understand a little bit about that process because it seems like majority of the approvals were presented by the builder. So how is it fair to every single individual homeowner if they had to waive their right to not oppose the annexation? That's all I have.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll go ahead and move you back to the attendees list. Is there anybody else that would like to speak this evening? If so, please go ahead and put your hand up. All right, seeing none, I'll go ahead and move to council. Councilmember Hanford.
Yes, I move to close the public testimony portion of the public hearing.
Thank you. I have a motion to close the public testimony portion of the public hearing from Councilmember Hanford with a second from Councilmember Fulcher. Any discussion on the motion to close the public testimony portion of the public hearing? Seeing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you. Councilmember Hanford.
Well, I was going to go ahead and move to close the public hearing, but you said that you wanted staff to address questions. Is that now, or do you want to have them do that later during the staff report?
I think you can certainly close the public hearing portion. They can still respond to the questions that were brought up, or if council would prefer, they can go ahead and respond to the questions to the extent that they're ready. I know that one of the questions was relative to the school district, and I think that Ms. Marrero is prepared to respond to that if that's what you're asking, Councilmember Hanford. I see Ms. Marrero shaking her head up and down, so I would go ahead and defer to her. Ms. Marrero, Councilmember Hanford, you still have the floor at this time. Ms. Marrero, would you like to go ahead and respond to the questions that were raised at this time?
Yes, I can answer the questions. So in response to the school district question, so the properties will still have the jurisdiction of the Snohomish School District. The school district sets the boundaries. So if at any time that changes, they would be contacted directly from the school district. But as far as I know, it'll continue to be the Snohomish School District. To answer the question on the no protest agreement and the question about 60% signatures from the developer. So before this development was developed, the developers came to the city and were requesting to use city utilities, so the city sewer. And as part of that, the city entered into agreement with the developer. The no protest agreement is attached to the agenda bill if the residents are interested in looking over that. And it does give over the rights of protesting and annexation in that agreement for all of the Monroe Woodlands development.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Marrero. Councilmember Hanford, you still have the floor. Go ahead. Councilmember Hanford, you are on mute.
Thank you for the information, Ms. Marrero, for the public. I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
You have a motion to close the public hearing from Councilmember Hanford, a second from Councilmember Scarborough. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you very much. Councilmember Hanford, go ahead.
I move to accept as first reading ordinance number 002, 2022, annexing the property commonly known as the Monroe Woodlands annexation area, acknowledging and requiring that the annexation area shall be designated R7, residential 7 dwelling units per acre on the city's zoning map, and medium density SFR on the comprehensive plan future land use map, requiring that the properties in the annexation area be assessed and taxed at the same rate and on the same basis as other property within the city of Monroe, adopting supportive findings, providing for severability, and establishing an effective date.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Hanford, a second from Councilmember Fulcher for the requested action C in this agenda bill. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor say yes.
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 Aye.
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 All opposed say no. Abstentions? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you very much, everybody. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next item on the agenda, and that item would be public comments. This is a time set aside for members of the public to speak to the city council on any issue related to the city of Monroe, except any quasi-judicial matter that is subject to a public hearing. 3 minutes are afforded to each speaker. If you're interested in speaking to the council about any other items this evening, please go ahead and raise your hand in the Zoom meeting or hit *9. Okay, anybody wishing to speak to the council this evening? All right, seeing none, we'll go ahead and move on to the next item on the agenda. And that would be the consent agenda. Councilmember Hanford, go ahead.
Move to approve the consent agenda as listed.
Second.
I have a motion to approve the consent agenda from Councilmember Hanford, a second from Councilmember Fulcher. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is new business, item 8.1, selection of the 2022 Mayor Pro Tem council committees and various council appointments. Ms. Wyckoff, you've got the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and Council. For the record, Jody Wyckoff, City Clerk. This evening, you have the opportunity to select yourselves a Mayor Pro Tem, several representatives for various regional committees, as well as representatives for your own council committees, and one more to sign the voucher approval. I don't know if anybody has any questions. I'm hoping that Ms. Knight could assist me if anybody has any questions about the regional different boards and commissions.
Thank you. And Ms. Wyckoff will go ahead and take us to the next slide.
Yep. Mayor, it appears Councilmember Scarborough may have a question.
Okay, can we move it to the next slide first, please?
Yep.
Just a second, Councilmember Scarborough. All right, go ahead, Councilmember Scarborough.
You can move to the next slide, I think. What I wanted to state was if nobody is objecting, I would like to stay with the Finance Committee and possibly go to P3 and let somebody else do legislative affairs.
So council members, what are the thoughts about stepping through each of the requested actions? There are a total of 10 requested actions, and perhaps what we can do is go ahead and address each one as we come up to them. The council committees are all beginning at number 7, I think. Councilmember Hanford.
Thank you, Mayor. I first of all, I wanted to say thank you to staff for putting the information in the packet. I feel like this is the first time it's all been in there as far as what's required and the days and times and things like that. So great job, Ms. Wyckoff, for doing that. And that really helps us to determine the ones that we're interested in. I'm fine with whatever. I think in the past, we've just kind of gone down the list.
Mm-hmm.
And so I will make a motion since I have the floor. I'll move to appoint Councilmember Gamble as Mayor Pro Tem for 2022.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion to appoint Councilmember Gamble as a mayor pro tem for 2022 from Councilmember Hanford, a second from Councilmember Scarborough. Any discussion on the motion?
Scarborough.
It was Councilmember Scarborough, correct?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Wyckoff, I said Councilmember Scarborough, correct? Okay, thank you. All right, any discussion on the motion? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor of Councilmember Scarborough's, I'm sorry, Councilmember Gamble serving as mayor pro tem, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you. The next one then is the French Creek Flood Control District Joint Board. So the information's in the packet. If anybody needs a presentation on this, please let me know and we can bring somebody forward. Otherwise, we can entertain a motion. Councilmember Fisher, go ahead.
I just lowered my hand. Thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Kinney, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. I took the time to read the information about the French Creek Flood Control District Joint Board, and I do have some interest in serving. So I would like to put my name in the hat for that position.
Okay. Is there anybody else who would like to serve on that board? Okay, Ms. Wyckoff, can somebody make a motion for themselves, or is that not allowed by our rules?
You got a hand up.
Yeah, Councilmember
Okay.
Gamble has his hand up as well.
All right, so we'll not answer that question this evening. Councilmember Gamble, go ahead.
I appreciate Councilmember Kenny stepping forward. Move to appoint. Was it Councilmember Kenny, right?
Kenny, yes.
Yeah.
Move to appoint Councilmember Kenny as the council representative to the French Creek Flood Control District Joint Board.
Second.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Gamble, a second from Councilmember Fulcher to appoint Councilmember Kinney as the council representative to the French Creek Flood Control District Joint Board. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you, everybody. The next one then would be the appointment of a council member as the council representative to the Snohomish County Tomorrow Steering Committee. I guess I should perhaps ask if there's anybody interested in serving in that position.
Who's there now?
I think it's Councilmember Fulcher right now.
I
Okay,
think she's done a fine job. I would nominate Ms. Fulcher to continue.
so I see a hand up. I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge Councilmember Hanford. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. I was just going to ask Ms. Fulcher if Councilmember Fulcher if she wanted to continue, and if so, then I'll go ahead and make the motion.
I am open to continuing if no one else would like to do it. Certainly have done it enough. I know it.
That's good.
Okay, so is there anybody that's interested in serving in that position aside from Councilmember Fulcher expressing an interest? All right, Councilmember Hanford, do you have a motion then to present?
Yes, I move to appoint Councilmember Fulcher as the council representative to the Snohomish County Tomorrow Steering Committee.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Hanford, a second from Councilmember Davis to appoint Councilmember Fulcher as the council representative to the Snohomish County Tomorrow Steering Committee. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you. The next one that we have on the list then is regarding the Snohomish County Board of Health, District 5 representative. I received a phone call earlier this afternoon from Mayor Wida from the city of Sultan. As everybody's aware, there was an issue related to the Snohomish Health District last year where both council member, I'm going to blank on his name, Nigel, hopefully I said his name correctly, had expressed an interest in serving, and there was a split vote on this. And because of the nature of how the bylaws were written and different ways of interpreting those bylaws, former council member Redmond continued to serve, even though we kind of had a difference of opinion on who should serve for the District 5 committees, representative rather. So what I understand from Mayor Wida is that Linda Redmond is just decided not to have her name there for this position. that Mr. Nigel may still want to continue to express his interest in serving. And so this evening, I'm asking the council to either consider not acting on this until we have more information next week or the week after, or to just express your interest in supporting Councilmember Nigel if he decides to put his name in for this position. I'm understanding that a council member with the city of Snohomish has put their name in. I don't know who that person is yet. And so the city of Snohomish had provided representation previously, and there was some discussion around sharing across cities when you have people that would like to serve and just sort of taking turns in having somebody from different cities throughout District 5. So anyway, just kind of sharing. Again, we can wait on this for more information, or just provide me direction and I can share that with Mayor Wida. Councilmember Gamble, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I said this last year too, but I think we would be extremely well served by Councilmember Nigel representing us. I mean, with all the work that he has done in the Sky Valley, from a health perspective, mental health, like all of the above, I just think that he would be a great representative. I thought that last year. So I'm all for putting our support behind him now, but I'd be interested if obviously if there's anybody interested, we want to hear that. But I personally would love to see Councilmember Nigel represent the Sky Valley.
Okay, thank you. So thoughts from other folks? Is there an interest in waiting for more information, or is there just an expression to support Councilmember Nigel if he decides to put his name in? Councilmember Fulcher, go ahead.
I feel like we should wait until we know that Councilmember Nigel would like to do it. It's not a problem to put it off another week, correct?
Correct.
Okay, that would be my thing, is we should just wait for him. I don't want to, push him into the job. I know he's a pretty busy guy to begin with, so I would like to have him express his interest before we push him into it.
Okay, sounds good. But I'm understanding that you are supportive of him, generally speaking, as well.
Yes, that is true.
And I only say that because I know that was expressed last year. Thank you.
Yeah.
Councilmember Davis, go ahead.
Yeah, not to belabor the point, but I agree with both council members. I would support him, but I think we should wait and see if he's interested and B, anybody else who's interested. So thank you.
Okay, sounds good. Anybody else? All right, so the next, I'm sorry, go ahead, Councilmember Scarborough.
I agree with Jason and Councilman Fulcher and Davis, but sounds to me like if you want to ask him and he's not interested, I guess there's no harm in waiting another week. But if you ask him and he says, yeah, we should probably move forward with it.
All right. Okay, so what I'm understanding, and it seems appropriate to see who else has expressed an interest. What I'll do is, unless there's objection, I'll go ahead and share with Mayor Wida that the City of Monroe's council is supportive of Councilmember Nigel if he's interested in serving, and that the council will consider any applications that come in at its next meeting where they can vote, which is actually 2 weeks from today. Does that sound good to everybody? Okay, and in talking to Mayor Wida earlier today, I think that waiting the 2 weeks is just fine. So I haven't even, to my recollection, seen anything from the person from Snohomish yet. And as you can see, our agenda bill still reflects Mayor Redmond, who I understand is not advancing her name at this time. So we'll bring this back in 2 weeks, and I will let Mayor Wida know that there seemed to be support for Councilmember Nigel if he'd like to serve in that position. Thank you, everybody. All right, the next one then would be representatives from the council. So both a primary and then an alternate for the Alliance for Affordable Housing. Is there somebody from, okay, so you've got the material already in the packets. Are there council members that are interested in serving either as the primary or the alternate for the Alliance for Housing Affordability? Councilmember Hanford.
Thank you. I'm not necessarily interested. One thing I wasn't sure on, Ms. Wyckoff, is for that position, there was no description of like the time commitment. You know Is there any more that you can shed on that?
I cannot, Ms. Knight, do you either have more information or was it Anita Marrero who might be able to provide some more information that we could bring forward?
It could be Anita Barrero. I believe that I checked on their website and thought that I had found some information and it had included it in the agenda packet, but perhaps not. So we might be able to answer that question by bringing Anita forward.
Okay, I'll
let's
bring
go
her
ahead and-
forward real quick.
Thank you.
So the group meets quarterly, and the next meeting should be in February, so next month. But we haven't received the invite to the next meeting yet.
Do we know if they meet during the day or evening?
I believe it was 4 o'clock.
Okay.
I did meet with them one time, and it's I believe it's around that time.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Is there anybody, and Ms. Marrero, can you provide just a little bit of information as to what the board does so the council members can understand how this plays into housing affordability and maybe grants or projects that might come to the Sky Valley or to Monroe?
Yes, so I did only attend one meeting, but that's exactly what happens. So we get together with the other jurisdictions and with the Snohomish County Housing Authority and Snohomish County, and we do talk about what other jurisdictions are doing to address affordable housing. The program manager will offer us any current data that he has available. And so it's basically getting updates on what is happening in the region and getting more information from the program manager.
Okay, and the I think it's called AHA. I think that's what they call it also.
Yes.
AHA, are they also a group of people that would help bring grants for affordable housing projects to our area?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
As far as
So-
yes. Mhm.
So serving on the committee gives a voice to the city in terms of allocating funding that could benefit either the city or at least the Sky Valley then.
Yes, or at least we'll know of what opportunities there are for grant opportunities. So yes, that is a benefit of joining AHA.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ms. Morrow. Councilmember Hanford, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. I wasn't sure if I still had the floor or not, but and so just to clarify, this person should be on council, not a staff member.
My preference would be that it be a council member because it probably deals with policy and things along those lines. And I at least understand that the board consists of elected officials. So staff, it's better to have elected to elected than staff to elected. So.
Okay, so I'm interested in serving as the representative. I'm not sure if there's anyone else that's interested, but I'll wait for somebody else to make the motion.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Fulcher, go ahead.
I would consider serving as the alternate representative and have Councilmember Hanford be our council representative.
Okay. I'm sorry, so you're interested in serving as the alternate, Councilmember Fulcher?
That is true, yes.
Okay, so is there a motion then?
I will make a motion that Councilmember Hanford is our, the council representative for the Alliance of Housing Affordability. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find the wording on here. It's all right.
So you'd be moving to appoint Councilmember Hanford as the council representative and Councilmember Fulcher as the alternate representative to the Alliance for Housing Affordability.
Yes, that is true.
Okay, motion made by Councilmember Fulcher. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Councilmember Davis. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Aye.
All opposed?
Yes.
Any abstentions? Okay, before we move forward, Ms. Marrero, go ahead.
I just wanted to mention that the meeting that I attended was on a Wednesday. It was September 22nd, and it was from 4:30 to 6 o'clock.
All right, thank
And
you
it
very
was
much.
virtually, yes.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Ms. Marrero. Does that change anybody in this? Councilmember Fulcher, go ahead.
Doesn't really change it. It just means that I hope I don't have to be the alternate too often if it's the evening, same evening as the Snohomish County Tomorrow Steering Committee, which is also on Wednesdays. So,
Understood.
okay.
All right, thank you. Okay, so the motion passes 7-0. And thank you very much, everybody. All right, we're now getting into the committees. So we're at requested action item number 6. So this is the group that reviews and signs the bills for 2022. Do we have any council members that would like to serve or a motion? Councilmember Fulcher, go ahead.
I can continue to do that unless this is one of those things we rotate.
Okay. Is there anybody else interested in serving? Councilmember Hanford?
Yes, I've done it before. I'm happy to continue unless someone else wants to do it. Otherwise, I'd be happy to do it with Councilmember Fulcher.
Okay, is there a motion? Councilmember Kinney, go ahead.
I move to assign council members Hanford and Fulcher to review and sign bills for 2022.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Kinney, a second from Councilmember Davis. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor say yes.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you. The next one then is item number 8, and this would be assigning
Number
item
7.
number 7, and this would be assigning 3 people to the Public Safety Committee. Is there a motion or are there people that want to express interest? Councilmember Fulcher?
I am currently on the committee and I would like to continue unless there are new people.
All right, thank you very much. Councilmember Fisher?
I'm also interested.
Okay, thank you very much. Councilmember Davis?
I am currently also on this committee and would like to continue.
All right, we've had 3 people express an interest.
Scarborough.
Councilmember Scarborough, go ahead.
You expressed an interest on being on the committee also.
All right, Councilmember Hanford, go ahead.
I move to assign council members Fulcher, Davis, Fisher, and Scarborough to the 2022 Public Safety Committee.
Okay, that's 4 council members. We need to narrow that down to 3.
I'm sorry, you're right.
Councilmember Hanford, you still have the floor for another shot at it.
I'll lower my hand and let some discussion go on.
Okay, Councilmember Davis, go ahead.
I would, I'll remove my name from that list and allow the other 3 to go ahead and assume those positions.
All right, thank you very much. Councilmember Hanford, go ahead.
Let's try it again. I move to assign council members Fulcher, Fisher, and Scarborough to the 2022 Public Safety Committee.
And can we do a quick pause for a point of order issue? Ms. Wyckoff, you see that somebody named Jason has their hand up. I just want to confirm, Councilmember.
That's me.
Okay, do we need to bring your other person into the meeting?
Yep.
Okay, and do you have your hand up to speak to this point? Okay, so before you make a motion, Councilmember, I just noticed his hand. Councilmember Gamble, we now have both of your avatars in the meeting. There you go. I did not see your hand before. So did you have something you wanted to speak to? Okay.
I'm good. I was just trying to get in because I'm all better now. I've got connection and we're good.
Okay, cool. I'm sorry for interrupting you. Go ahead, Councilmember Hanford, with your motion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Third time is the charm. I'm sorry, I'm new at this, so I move to assign council members Fulcher, Fisher, and Scarborough to the 2022 Public Safety Committee.
Second.
All right, I have a motion from Councilmember Hanford, a second from Councilmember Davis. Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor say yes.
Aye.
Yes.
All opposed, say no. Any abstentions? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you, everybody. All right, let's try the next one. This one is number 8, Finance and HR Committee. Councilmember Gamble, go ahead.
I have an interest to continue to serve on this committee.
Okay,
Scarborough.
okay. I have Scarborough and Gamble expressing an interest in continuing to serve on the Finance Committee. Is anybody else interested in serving? We have 3 slots. Councilmember Kenny, Councilmember Fisher. Councilmember Fulcher, go ahead. You've got the floor.
Oh, well, I was thinking that Councilmember Davis would do a fantastic job here.
It is the fun committee. I mean,
I know it's the FUN committee. I know that.
Councilmember Davis, are you interested in serving in this committee?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
All right, Councilmember Hanford, go ahead. I'm sorry. Councilmember Fisher, go ahead. Your hand was up. Councilmember Fisher, we can't hear you.
I was gonna throw my name in the hat, but it sounds like we got all the problems solved there.
Okay, all right, looking for a motion from somebody now. Councilmember Hanford, go ahead.
I move to assign council members Davis, Scarborough, and Gamble to the 2022 Finance HR Committee.
Second.
All right, I have a motion from Councilmember Hanford, a second from Councilmember Fulcher to assign 3 people to the Finance and HR Committee. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor, say yes.
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 All opposed, say no. Any abstentions? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you. All right, we're now on to the Legislative Affairs Committee. Go ahead, Councilmember Fulcher.
I would like to volunteer my services for the Legislative Affairs Committee this year.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Hanford.
I would like to continue on that committee.
All right, thank you. Is there a third person that's interested in serving on the Legislative Affairs Committee?
I would think this would be a great committee for Miss Kinney. Just if she'd like.
Thank you, Councilmember Scarborough. Is there anybody else that would like to express an interest or make a motion? Councilmember Kinney, go ahead.
Actually, Councilmember Scarborough, I was really interested in the P3 committee, which is Parks and Rec, because that's where I've been for the last 8 years, but I appreciate you suggesting me.
Okay.
Not quite sure about that yet.
Is there a third person interested in serving on the Legislative Affairs Committee? Councilmember Davis, go ahead.
Just to interject that there's plenty of committees to go around and each of us can get a chance to be on at least 2, with one of us having the chance to be on 3 committees. So this would be your last chance. If you want to be on the committee, there's only 2 more to go. So jump on it now.
Councilmember Fisher, go ahead.
I'll go ahead and throw my name in the hat on this one.
All right. All right. Is there a motion? We now have 3 council members expressing an interest in the Legislative Affairs Committee. Councilmember Kenny, go ahead.
I move to assign council members Fisher, Fulcher, and Hanford to the 2022 Legislative Affairs Committee.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion from Councilmember Kenny, a second from Councilmember Gamble. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Any abstentions? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you. Last committee, this is Transportation Planning, Parks and Recreation and Public Works, AKA the P3 Committee. Expression of interest. Go ahead, Council, or a motion, Councilmember Fulcher.
Well, I was actually just going to put Councilmember Kinney up for that. I think she'd be a great fit in there.
I would love to be on this committee. I've been looking forward to serving on this one. So thank you, Councilmember Fulcher, for your vote of confidence.
Okay. Thank you, Councilmember Fulcher. Did you have a motion or was that all for now?
I'm waiting to see who else would like to be on it.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Fisher, go ahead.
I am also interested in one of these positions.
All right, so we've got two people interested, Fisher and Kenny. Councilmember Scarborough.
I'm also interested. What's the difference between this and P3?
This is the P3 committee, sir.
Well, what was the 1, 2 ago that Mrs. Kinney wanted to do and was number 4?
Councilmember, I think that she expressed an interest in being in the P3 committee, which is the one that we're considering at this time.
Okay, well, the one I volunteered for 2 times ago was what? I was of the opinion it was a P3.
No, I think it might have been the Public Safety Committee.
So is that,
Just a second, Councilmember Scarborough. Ms. Wyckoff, what is Councilmember Scarborough assigned to for councilmember committees?
Right now, I have Councilmember Scarborough on the Public Safety Committee, the Finance HR Committee, and I think that is it for Scarborough.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Scarborough, you still have the floor. Go ahead.
okay, the Public Safety Committee is what?
Public safety would be the courts and police.
Okay, I'll stay there. I'm still interested in the P3.
Okay, so we currently have Kenny and Fisher expressing an interest. They haven't been appointed to a committee yet. I guess Fisher has, right? Go ahead, Councilmember Fulcher.
I know that Councilmember Davis has been on this committee with me a couple times in the past, and he's done a really great job. I would suggest that he stay on there. I would like to see his name on there.
Councilmember Davis, are you interested in continuing to serve in that committee?
I have no objection to continuing.
Is there an interest in making a motion, Councilmember Fulcher?
Mayor, we now have 4 people interested.
Thank you.
I would like to make a suggestion of appointments. I would like to appoint council members Fisher, Kinney, and Davis to the P3 committee.
Okay, any discussion on the motion? Is there a second? Sorry.
Second.
Okay, so I have a motion from Councilmember Fulcher. Great, Fulcher and Fisher.
Sorry.
That's gonna be the problem. Okay, so we have a motion from Councilmember Fulcher, a second from Councilmember Hanford. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move to vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say no. Any abstentions? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you very much, everybody. All right, next item on the agenda is new business is taken care of. So we're now on to council member reports. Item 9, so we'll go around the screen. We'll start off with Councilmember Gamble. Councilmember Gamble, any report this evening? Go ahead.
Yeah, you know, I know we started with the congratulations for all the new council members at the top of this. I would be remiss if I didn't take at least 2 seconds because I did miss the send off for Councilmember Cutterback. I felt really guilty about that until someone reminded me that, yeah, but she missed her actual send off. You were there for that. And she made the second one. So, but I just wanted to go on the record and make sure my comments were on the record, and just what a pleasure it was to serve with Councilmember Cutterback. She was just a fantastic council member, always came prepared. I mean, I look to her a lot of time for counsel, and just, you know, as a peer mentor, I'm going to miss her greatly. For those of all of you, it's her fault that I'm serving. She's the one that, if you didn't know that, I served on her, started to serve on her board at the Y, and it was through that we started talking about council, and she was the one that encouraged me to run and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to greatly miss her. I think she just was, did a great job for the city. I think she also helped our culture as a council. I'd be remiss if I didn't say that. There was a turbulent time in the past, and she helped us get through that, just by the way she carried herself as an individual. So just the utmost respect, and, you know, and kudos for the work she did. I'm excited to hear that she's going to kind of stay on and stay plugged in and try to participate in other committees within the city. So, but I wanted to make sure that those words were on the record. So thank you.
Thank you, council member. All right, Councilmember Scarborough.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of attending Jamie Silva's retirement last week or 2 weeks ago. We were all out in the rain and the snow and the cold, and a good time was had by all. A lot of service. I forget how many years. I want to thank 34, maybe Ms. Fulcher can clarify that, 34 or 35. Been around a long time, worked with him when I was at the school district. Son's on the fire department, so they kind of grew up in the same time frame and era, so known him for a long time. Congratulations to him. Fair winds and following seas.
All right, thank you very much, Councilmember Scarborough. Councilmember Davis.
Yeah, let me just first say welcome to our new council members, Kinney and Fisher. And with that, also welcome everybody back for a brand new year.
Thank you,
And I'm
Council.
hoping that this year is a little more, I don't know, closer than it has been in the last couple. I look forward to a time where we can all meet once again together and personally, and I look forward to that. Anyways, hoping that comes soon, and I think it's this year should be a full of opportunity for us, and I really look forward to it. And I look forward to working with all of you. And as I have every year, it's always been a pleasure for me. I enjoy the staff and all the other council members. There's so much good things that happen here in Monroe, and I think we've set some records that other people have wanted to or tried to emulate. And I talk to people on a regular occasion, and they have good things to say about us, and they're impressed by some of the things we've accomplished in the last few years, and I look forward to continuing that with you guys. And so I'm hoping this year is going to be another successful year for the city, but a happier one, and a little more productive this year. So anyways, good to see you all, and look forward to this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Davis. Councilmember Hanford.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I would just echo everything Councilmember Davis said. So proud of our staff and our returning council members and mayor and the new council members. Very excited for the future. The future is bright for Monroe, and so thankful. I want to thank the staff for all the work they did during the snow storms that we encountered, and just helping out with all of that. And yeah, other than that, happy new year. I'm looking forward to getting a lot done this year.
Thank you, Councilmember Hanford. Councilmember Fulcher.
Well, my upperclassmen have been very good at explaining how we all feel. We're all happy to be back together. I am honored again to serve another year in my hometown and with you all. And I look forward to seeing your faces in 3D sooner than later.
Thank you. Councilmember Fisher.
Yeah, I'm just excited to be here. This is me and Councilmember Kinney's first meeting. I appreciate all the work that you guys have put in since you've been on council. Hasn't gone unnoticed. Being on the planning commission, I saw a lot of the things kind of go through the process of that, and then reaching to council. Happy New Year, and I'm excited to do this, and hopefully get to see all your faces live here soon.
Thank you, Councilmember Fisher. Councilmember Kinney.
I just wanted to echo what Councilmember Fisher just said. I'm very excited to be here. Little nervous about the first meeting, but it's going well so far, and really have a great reservoir of experience and just very warm and welcoming people here on council. So again, I just wanted to express my appreciation and thanks for everyone being warm welcome group to make new people feel at home and let us know that we've got a 4-year stretch here that's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to work hard and get a lot done for our community. So very excited to be here. Also wanted to mention that I attended the Monroe Equity Council meeting last week. They had a workshop on bystander intervention that was extremely interesting and helpful, not only to me as a community member and council member, but also I'm a coach. And I found a lot of the presentation to be really helpful in terms of dealing with different conflicts that I've seen over the 10 years that I've been a coach. So that was a great meeting. Mayor Thomas also attended, and I just wanted to report on some of the things I've been doing in the last couple of weeks. And the Christmas decorations downtown also looked fantastic. Thought they looked especially beautiful this year. So Happy New Year to all, and very, very happy to be here.
Thank you, Councilmember Kinney. All right, we're going to go on to Mayor and Staff and Department reports. 10.1, Police Department reports. We'll bring Chief Jolly forward. Good evening, Chief. How are you?
Good, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor, Council, and a big welcome to our new council members. And I'm with Councilmember Fulcher. It'll be exciting to see you all in person sometime soon. You have the council report before you from the police department. We had some significant issues. You can read about those. And of course, any questions that you might have, I'll be happy to answer. I did want to say a big thank you to the community, the city, and the council for all the appreciation and support that we received during Police and Fire Appreciation Week. And we were able to get through the holidays, and I was very proud of the men and women of the Monroe Police Department for putting forth a great effort to collect toys, be invested in the community, do shop with the cop, Toys for Tots, and a lot of last minute donations. So very fine job you have a very good group of men and women that work for you and represent you with our police department. So thank you very much. And again, welcome. If you have any questions, I'm available.
Thank you, Chief. Questions, Councilmember Scarborough, go ahead.
Chief Jolly, in driving around town, it appears to me that I've seen more of the homeless people camping in doorways downtown, or more around town than I've seen maybe in the last 2 months. Is that your observation, or am I just happening to see it?
That's a good observation, Councilmember Scarborough. I do think you're referring to 1 or 2 people specifically. I'd be happy to talk to you about that particular individual who we've reached out for the 6th time and found him shelter. He keeps slipping through the cracks, and there's not much safeguards there for him in his situation. But I think I know who you're referring about, and feel free to call me and follow up. I'd be happy to talk to you about it. In regards to more, I don't think that we have experienced a huge influx or seen a lot more people. I think we have a couple people that are very visible right now.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions for Chief Jolly? All right, thank you very much, Chief Jolly. We're going to go ahead and bring forward now the Parks Department. Mr. Farrell for the Parks Department report. Good evening, Mr. Farrell. You've got the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. Happy New Year, Mayor and Council. Good evening. So yes, you have also before you the copies of the Parks Department's report for December of last year. Among just the crew being busy in the parks, and it was already mentioned about some winter snow and various repairs. They did make some improvements to trails at El Borland Park that had been washed away before the snow came down, that sort of thing. I do want to point out within the written report that we've been busy, as you know, last month, and we will continue to be this month in wrapping up the PROS plan update. So last month, the draft plan was presented to council. The finance committee reviewed and provided direction to staff on the new park impact fees. The remaining schedules listed, including Planning Commission reviews and hearings on amendments to Chapter 7 of the comp plan, which refers to the new park plan, the draft pros plan, and the amendments to the impact fees. There will be another finance committee scheduled later this month to review and make recommendation of those new park impact fees. And then we have scheduled for final action February 22nd City Council meeting on the pros plan. The plan must be adopted by February 28th in order to be eligible for 2022-2023 RCO grant cycle. We do intend to apply for grants in the new year. And then outside of the written report, I want to draw your attention to and point out there's a couple of dates coming up. One of them was mentioned in the mayor's proclamation at the start of the meeting, that on Monday, January 17th, which is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, there will be a day of service activity, a real fun one. We've been organizing with the Monroe Kiwanis Club and the Monroe Family YMCA. We're going to be planting 80 evergreen trees that were donated by an area resident, Peggy Zimmerman. Those trees will be planted around Lake Ty in areas within Alborland Park. So we're really excited about that activity. And then the second thing is we will be inviting the public to attend and participate in a virtual North Hill area park design workshop. So we're moving right along here. We acquired the property and now we need to work to design it. That will be scheduled for Wednesday, January 26th from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. And don't worry about writing this down right now because we will this week be sending out advertisement and invitations. They'll be going out on our city website, social media, Monroe This Week. And also we will be doing a direct mail postcards, and then we'll be targeting the surrounding neighborhood service area, which is about a mile around the surrounding the site. So this will be a very fun meeting for folks. There'll be an overview of the site conditions to help us determine the feedback from and activities during this meeting, what sort of amenities and features to include in the park design. So, and that concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Farrell. I was going to call you Councilmember Farrell. Sorry. Councilmember Fisher, Councilmember Fulcher, and Councilmember Farrell. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Farrell. Any questions for Mr. Farrell about the Parks report? All right. Thank you. Next report that we have then is Public Works Department and Department of Emergency Management, I believe. Go ahead, Mr. Roberts.
Thank you, Mayor Thomas. Good evening, council. Welcome to our two new council members, Kenny and Fisher. Nice to see you guys. Glad to have you here. Running through the Public Works Department report, I'll just touch on these real quickly. Starting off, we had quite a few inquiries from downtown business owners and a few of the key organizers of the downtown groups there about maintenance of sidewalks, especially particularly during the snow and ice event. And so our stormwater team recently put together the flyer or brochure, I guess, that you see here. This was handed out and discussions were had with several of the business owners downtown in December. Big thanks to Teresa Willard, who kind of led that project and also helped us to post it on some of the downtown social media pages. Moving on, so it snowed, everybody knows that. It was winter weather. Tip of the cap to our operations and maintenance team that responded to several snow events over the holidays. I really appreciate the folks that sacrificed some of their family time, some of their other time to come in and plow roads to keep roads open and streets moving. We actually received a compliment from a neighboring city who's, I will keep out of the naming of who they were, asking us how we were able to respond to this event so well. So that was kind of a tip of the cap to those folks that did that work. And then finally, we had a cleanup down on Simons Road. Quite a bit of garbage had accumulated down in that area. We coordinated with several of our local departments and then also with Burlington Northern, and we're able to get in there and take out around 30 yards of garbage and quite a few tires. So it should really clean up the entrance to the park there. Moving on through, we have our capital project map that's posted on the webpage as always. And as a matter of fact, I am going to be handling the EM report tonight as well. So Clerk Wyckoff, if you could jump into those two slides, the first and second there. The bad news is the COVID case rate is up about 5 times. I think that's news that everyone is aware of. It's pretty hard to avoid these days. I don't want to call it a silver lining on that because it's not a silver lining, but it is a positive thing that the hospitalization rate has only risen about 40%. So we have a 5-time increase in the number of cases, but yet that hospitalization rate has stayed a little bit lower than it was previously during the last peak. So that concludes both my reports. I'm happy to take any questions should you have any.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Any questions for Mr. Roberts? All right, thank you. We're going to go ahead and move on now to administrative reports, extended agenda. Ms. Knight, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I also want to just add my appreciation for council members, Kinney and Fisher, for your service. And then also just wanted to add how pleased I am to be able to serve with Mayor Thomas in his 3rd term. So also welcome back, Mayor Thomas.
Thank you.
On the extended agenda for upcoming council meetings, looking forward to the council meeting next Tuesday. I want to just then remind council members Davis, Gamble, and Scarborough that we will have a finance committee meeting next week to talk about park impact fees. So our finance group will be reaching out to you and sending those materials and making those arrangements. The other item then for the study session is really focused around the council basics. So we will just be getting then the annual update on all of the laws that apply to councils and our boards and commissions as well. Appearance of fairness, absences, quasi-judicial hearings, and then a reminder about the Public Records Act and the Open Public Meetings Act training that is required for council members to take every 4 years. So that'll be the bulk of our study session next week. Following up then on our business meeting for January 25th, I don't believe that we have a P3 committee scheduled, but if we do, we'll again be reaching out to those council members that were just appointed tonight to attend that meeting. For the regular business meeting, we will have scheduled our 2020 audit exit conference, and then also be sharing with council just the 2022 work plans for each of the departments. There's no action needed. It's just for your information for council members. On the consent agenda, we have renaming Oaks Street to Tierney Place, and then accepting the Woods Creek Road water main replacement project and beginning the 45-day lien period. Under public hearings, we'll be bringing back the Connor pre-zone and then an ordinance for the Astound broadband telecommunications franchise that Mr. Huebner presented to the council in December, and then park impact fees. For final action, we will have the Connor pre-zone and then the ordinance for second reading for the Woodlands annexation. Under new business, we will bring to you hopefully a contract for our comprehensive plan update. We're going to be moving forward in updating our comprehensive plan in earnest. We met with the consultant today, the staff group did, and so we'll be bringing that back to council for action. And then finally, a resolution setting the public hearing for a right of way vacation. And that's it that we have for the next 2 upcoming meetings.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Knight. Councilmember Gamble, go ahead.
You said the word vacation. I'm actually going to be out of the country next Tuesday, so I will not be here or able to attend in a virtual capacity on the 18th. So.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Gamble. We'll make a note. For our new council members, this is a time also for you to kind of identify if you're not going to be present, if you're aware at this time on anything on the extended agenda. Does anybody else have any other notes or any other questions about the extended agenda? All right, thank you. Ms. Knight, administrative report.
Thank you again, Mr. Mayor. We do have a need for one of our council members to attend an upcoming community transit meeting that's scheduled for Thursday, January 20th at 4:30 p.m. It is a virtual meeting, and the purpose of having a council member attend that meeting is to elect new board members to the Community Transit Board. Community Transit is doing a lot of proposed schedule changes, And so it would be ideal if we could have somebody either from the Monroe City Council on the Community Transit Board, or somebody at least representing East Snohomish County. So if there's a council member that would be willing to attend, you don't necessarily need to let us know tonight, but we would need to know before the meeting on the 20th so we could share that information with Community Transit. Actually, I walked that back. I think if I remember correctly, Ms. Wyckoff, we needed to know by the 13th. Is that correct?
That sounds right to me.
Yes, that's
Thank
correct.
you.
Ms. Knight, I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge Councilmember Fulcher, then we'll come back to you. Councilmember Fulcher.
I have been to a few of those back when we could do it in person, and I would be willing to be at that meeting virtually.
Okay. Does anybody have any objection to that? Anybody else want to attend that meeting? I'm seeing this. So sounds like you got it, Councilmember Fulcher. Thank you. Please continue, Ms. Knight. Thank you.
Thank you. So on legislative updates, just a reminder to the City Council that the state legislative session started on Monday, and this is a short session. So they're going to be meeting for 60 days, which means that's a lot of state business to get accomplished in a very short time period. We did receive a request from Representative Emily Wicks, who is sponsoring House Bill 1025, which is legislation that the city has been supportive of in our legislative priorities list for the last couple of years. House Bill 1025 would create a voter-approved sales tax in order to support operations and maintenance of city parks. So I think I have a slide, Ms. Wyckoff, a follow-up slide. Oh, that's difficult to read. I don't know if we can bring that in any closer, Ms. Wyckoff, or if I just did it.
Kyle, can you see that okay on your iPhone?
I'm not sure if I can make it any bigger. I can try.
All right. Well, our clerk is trying what may be an impossible task. I'll explain this letter to you. Basically what it does is it just supports House Bill 1025 and provides a council signature or the mayor's signature at the bottom. So we can provide that to Representative Wicks as she works this bill through the legislative process.
So I'm understanding this is the bill that we've been working on for 4 years or more now. And so this letter's just in support of what we've been advocating for all these years, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, do any council members have any concerns about me signing this? All right, I don't see any concerns, so I understand that I can go ahead and sign it then. Okay, sounds good. Ms. Knight?
That was it for city administrator reports.
All right, sounds good. So just mayor's report, you'll see Monroe this week in 3 editions of it. They're in your packets. Go ahead and feel free to read that. I have attended a couple school board meetings recently because I know that there's been a lot going on at our schools, and I just want to gain a better understanding of how things are going with our schools. Also attended Monroe Equity Council, as Councilmember Kinney had pointed out, for last week's meeting, and I think a meeting before that as well. Been just doing a lot of work with folks at, just staff and other folks. We are meeting with, is it Senator Hawkins, Ms. Knight, on Friday?
That's correct.
Okay, not representative. So Senator Hawkins. So we're beginning the outreach to get to know our, the 12th legislative district that will be in effective, January 1st, I think is when that becomes effective, when the new legislators are seated next year. So we're beginning the process of getting to know who's there, and we'll be reaching out to some of the cities in this new district to find out where we've got commonalities and things along those lines over the next several months. So I'll update you or the legislative committee about how those meetings go as they occur. I think that's all that I have to report out this evening. Does anybody have any questions for me? All right, thank you, everybody. So we do have a need for an executive session this evening. For the new council members, I'd ask you to go ahead and open up your Microsoft Outlook. open up the meeting appointment for this evening. You'll notice in the appointment for this evening, hyperlink that is underneath the yellow highlighted text. It says to join the executive session, click on this link. Don't click on that right now. So what we're going to do is when I say go, you're going to go ahead and you're going to click on that link. That'll close this session that we're in right now. And it'll put you into the executive session to talk about what I'm going to reference momentarily here. When you are done with that meeting, you are going to come back into this current meeting. Okay, so this is very much like us closing the door to council chambers so that we can have an executive session and then opening it back up at the end, or leaving council chambers and then coming back in when we're done with an executive session. We will begin that when I have 4 council members present. We will wait just a little bit for other folks, for stragglers, but because we will be on a time frame, we will get started within a couple minutes of the first couple people getting into the room. So before we begin that process, does anybody have any questions? And just remember, we do need to come back into this meeting to adjourn. So Councilmember Fisher, go ahead.
Yeah, I just moved over to my Outlook. Can you go over one more time where I'm gonna find that?
Yeah, so open up your Outlook, open up your calendar, open up the council meeting in your calendar for this evening. It started at 7 o'clock.
Yep.
You're gonna scroll down and you're gonna see a yellow highlighted line. It says no known executive session required at this time. So at the time that this was sent out to you, that there was not a session. It says if one is needed, there's a link. And so you're going to click on that link that follows that. Do you see all that?
You know, I'm not seeing anything on my calendar. I just have the packet for the council meeting, city council Zoom meeting.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Ms. Wyckoff right now to highlight that text and send it off to you and Councilmember Kinney so that you both have it in your email. So Ms. Wyckoff, can you send that? And Ms. Wyckoff, we can see everything you're doing right now, including the link. You're welcome. Thank you. So she's, I can tell she's going to do exactly what we were looking at doing. She'll send that off to you momentarily. And while she's doing that, council members, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read in the information so that we can get started on the exec session. But before I do that, I'm going to recognize Councilmember Scarborough. Councilmember Scarborough, go ahead. Councilmember Scarborough, you're muted.
I'm gonna go back out to the initial email and go down to the highlighted in yellow and click on it to go to the executive session, correct?
Right underneath where it's highlighted in yellow, yes.
Okay, I've got to go out of this to get to that.
Okay. All right.
Time to go?
Not yet, almost.
Okay.
Okay, does anybody else have any questions? All right, don't leave yet. Okay, so we do have a need for an executive session this evening. This is for pricing of property, person to RCW 42.30.110, subsection 1, subsection C, for an initial 10 minutes starting at 8:32 p.m. We will be coming back into this session when the executive session is finished. We may have a need to extend. If we have a need to extend the session, I will notify Ms. Wyckoff, and she will notify anybody that is still waiting in this Zoom session. There may be a need to take action following the executive session, if nothing else, to adjourn the meeting for this evening. So at this time at 8:32, we're now going into executive session for 10 minutes. Council members and staff, I will see you there. Thank you.
Councilmember Kinney, you need to leave this meeting to be able to go into the next meeting.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay. And I still show a Jason on here. I presume that's his other login. For the record, this is Jody Wyckoff, City Clerk. The executive session has been extended 5 minutes. For the record, this is Jody Wyckoff, City Clerk. The executive session has been extended an additional 5 minutes. For the record, this is Jody Wyckoff, City Clerk. The executive session has been extended an additional 5 minutes. For the record, this is Jody Wyckoff, City Clerk. The executive session has been extended an additional 5 minutes. For the record, this is City Clerk Jody Wyckoff. The executive session has been extended an additional 5 minutes. For the record, this is Jody Wyckoff, City Clerk. The executive session has been extended an additional 5 minutes.
We just need 2 more. Jason, if you call in on your other device, does that make 2 of you?
1.5.
We can make that happen.
Tammy's in the attendees list. We're
Oh.
and Sarah Kyle, and so is Kevin.
Yep, I forgot I have to do that already. One moment.
You'll get updated links though, right?
Yes.
Perfect.
So everybody will have a new panelist link and can get right in.
Yeah, those are really helpful.
I like coming in the other way. It's more fun.
You like putting your hand up, huh?
Yeah.
They're welcoming, people say, hey, you can join.
I think the sound of being promoted to panelist is,
Yeah.
it just sounds cool.
There you go.
Like, hey, come to the cool kids table. Yeah.
All right, so let me just count them up here. Let me move Deborah's face up here. All right, Zach, you're gonna bump Jason over. Okay, whoops. And then Ed came in and everything went like this. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How am I getting 8? Oh, I'm counting myself. Okay. All right. We are back in session. Last extension was to 9:12. The time right now is 9:13. We have no further business this evening. Is there a motion? Councilmember Davis, go ahead.
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion to adjourn from Councilmember Davis, a second, I think, from Councilmember Hanford. Any discussion on the motion to adjourn? Seeing none, all in favor, say yes.
Yes, aye.
Yes.
All opposed,
yes.
say no. Any abstentions? All right, motion passes 7-0. We are adjourned for the evening. Have a great evening, great week, everybody. Bye.
All right. Good night, everybody.